It's that simple to me.
Errol, 2017 will probably go down as one of the best years for boxing. We saw some great matchups. We saw you in high-priced fights. 2018 is kicking off with a great fight between you two. What do you see for the welterweight division in 2018 and for Errol Spence in 2018?
I mean, I see for the welterweight division the best fighting the best. I mean, I know I'm willing to fight the best. I know Lamont willing to fight the best. It's for the other guys to step up and you know, make that choice. Do they want to be great or they just want to get by? I mean, that's the only way that, you know, the welterweight division can get to the peak. If we fight, the best fighters fight each other and they fight them in their prime. Everybody's in their prime right now. I don't feel like waiting until I'm 30-something to, you know, want to fight the best guy out there. I want to fight the best right now. So I feel like 2018, you know, hopefully I get 3 fights in and it's with 3 top 5 fighters.
All right, we'll wrap it up with this. Lamont, what should we expect January 20th?
I think we pretty much know what to expect. It's going to be a fight, highly competitive, highly skilled, and at the end of the day, it's going to be a dogfight.
Errol?
I mean, you know how me and Lamont, if you've seen Lamont fight, you know how Lamont fight, you see me fight, you know how I fight. We've never been in boring fights. I mean, always in fan-friendly fights. We have a lot of dog in us, and that's what you're going to get. I mean, we're not going to shy away from it. And like I said, it's probably going to start out a boxing match, but at the end, it's gonna be a fight. That's both our mentality, and that's our coach's mentality too. So, I mean, we got the mentality to go and get it. I mean, we're friends, but I mean, we can talk in the locker room, and right before the fight, we talk in the locker room, and then when we get out there, we're trying to kill each other. I mean, that's our mentality.
Take a few questions from members of the press. The gentleman right there. Just tell us your name, who you're with, and direct your question.
Oh, hi. John Cudney, Reddit Boxing. So this is a question for Errol. So Lamont was already a pretty established pro, I think, when you started fighting, because you started out pretty late. Just wondering when you first became aware of him, if he was someone you followed on TV before you eventually sparred each other.
Yeah, he was somebody I followed on TV before I sparred him. You know, I used to watch him and Anthony Peterson. Watch their fights. I just like their style. You know, I like their defense. I liked how they throw body punches. I like the fundamentals. So, yeah, I did, you know, grow up watching him in the amateurs before I met him.
Okay, so just a follow-up question. I was able to talk to Lamont and Barry beforehand, and they mentioned, you know, training a bit as amateurs and almost described it as a mentor-type relationship, that, you know, they had a lot of respect for you, advised you. Just wondering what it means now to have risen to this level and fight someone who you had seen before and was to some extent, you know, advised you early on.
I mean, I don't really put too much thought in it. I mean, it just, you know, that's the business of the sport. I mean, just like with any other fighter. I mean, you know, I was a younger guy, you know, he was giving me advice and, you know, telling me certain things I need to work on. And, you know, now we're here to this point. I mean, it basically shows, you know, his longevity in the sport. He's, you know, still around 13 years in the game. And it shows, you know, my come up from amateur to now to a, you know, top level professional fighter.
So one last question here. So just wondering, Derek James, so during the Kelbrook promotion, you and Dominic Ingle got into it a little bit. Here we saw before this started, you and Barry embraced each other, you know, seems to be clear respect for I'm just wondering to hear you first and then Barry after to talk about the relationship between you two and between the two camps.
Well, you know, they've known each other. Well, I initially met him like in 2007 when in the U.S. Championships, when I was in the U.S. Championships with a friend, Charles Hadley, watching him fight. So I've known him, and I got to know him a little bit more better, and he spent a lot of time with Errol. So, you know, if you got a guy who's spending time with your guy, you got to get to know those guys, you know, and you go to develop a friendship and respect for the guy. So, you know, I like him. You know, I like what he's done. You know, he has a gym of fighters, man. He creates these young, tough guys. I mean, he's right in the heart of it, and the grind of it, which everybody can't do that, to be in the inner city like that and develop fighters like that. So, you know, I respect him, and I love what he does, you know, and I'm going to keep doing that. Regardless of this fight, if you think about this, this is the maturation of a fighter. Like this fighter, they saw him when he was an amateur, they worked with him when he was an amateur, but now he's growing into a man, a better fighter, a bigger fighter. And so we love that. I mean, so when you ask them how they feel about us, it's beautiful, because that's what you want to see in life. Somebody get better, somebody get to be the best that they can possibly be. And Barry's been there to support, and Lamont is always there on his shoulder, you know what I mean? So it's all good, man. I love it.
Errol, Keith Heideck from BoxingScene.com. How you doing? What do you remember from your sparring session with Lamont back in 2011, I think it was? What did you get from that, and how do you remember it going?
It was just great work, man. It was a learning experience. I mean, you know, just because I was an amateur, you know, it's the amateur level. You know, I'm going at a fast pace, you know, just flaring punches off, kind of fighting like Amir Khan. And, you know, Lamont, you know, he just being patient, you know, blocking, you know, trying to counter, and, you know, picking shots out, basically fighting at a pro level, pro pace. And I didn't really understand it until, you know, I turned pro and started going 10, 12 rounds. And now, you know, I understand, you know, what he was doing and things like that.
You guys never sparred together after that, though?
No.
Next question.
Lamont Peterson, this is the Studio Lois, Black Star News. Errol Spence is one of the most prolific southpaws in the business today. Unlike Bud Crawford, who's a switch hitter, how do you plan to offset his left-hand stance, even though you were somewhat of a mentor towards him, and you may feel mentally that you have an advantage over him?
I'm not really too much worried about southpaw stance. Been fighting for 23 years now. Then, you know, encountered a few southpaws, especially in an international level when you're fighting for the U.S. team. 50% of those guys are southpaws, so I'm pretty sure I'll be able to handle the stance.
My name is Cheyenne with Blue Blood Sports TV. So you haven't had too many fights at the welterweight division. Mm-hmm. Do you think the size is going to play a big part in this fight?
Of course, with anything, it can, but it's up to me and it's up to my team to make sure that don't happen. You know, it's still, just because one thing might seem like an advantage for one person, it's up to the other side to make sure that that advantage is not an advantage. So if it is a size advantage, then it's up to us to negate it.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to face off our fighters. Fighters, if we could, stand over here to your left, far right here, and get ready to face off.
You want to face off, right? Get out of my way.
I'm going to rely on y'all to tell me how far back you can go to get that in the background. Is this too close?
That's perfect.
Y'all can face off first, please.
Andrew, we're going to get the belt.
Where is it? Yeah.
Coming up.
Your shoes are better than that print. Are you getting it?
That, please.
Guys, right here, please. Thank you. This is all.
Got this one? All right. Take it easy.
Yeah.
That over your shoulders.